course. Should we go into one?
Andy's right here.
No, yeah, Mike's up in there first.
All right, it is 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Becky, we gonna do roll call?
Okay. Hyatt?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Bell?
Yep.
Holland?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion, or first, did everybody have a chance to review minutes from our May 1st meeting, the last meeting we had?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, concerns, anything with them? Comments? Do I have a motion to approve minutes from May 1?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
No.
Wait for it.
We'll give it to Josh.
Okay.
He's new. All in favor to approve?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Audience items, Greg, I'm sure you're here for your one topic. Do you have any other audience items you'd like to discuss today?
I don't.
You don't want to stand up and present?
Nope.
Very good. First motion to consider. Our next meeting scheduled for September 4th is Labor Day. We'd like to push that to September 5th, that Tuesday. Is there any concerns or comments in regards to that? Everybody get a chance to check their schedule as I do that now for mine.
I may not be here. I won't be here.
How many do we need to have here? We can miss 2, right? We still have the meeting. We have to have 5?
Yeah,
Or is it 4?
I thought it was 4.
4? Okay.
I'm in.
I should be good.
Okay.
Good. Perfect. So do I have a motion to go ahead and move that to September 5th?
Motion.
Thank you, Kelly. And a second?
A second.
Thank you, Amy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Perfect. Next meeting will be scheduled for September 5th. Motion to consider to recommend approval for North Polk United Soccer to use sports complex for practices and games starting August 26th to November 5th. Mr. Greg Bell is in the audience. Anything you have to add to what you have submitted? I think we received nights of the week, practice, games are all going to be on the weekends, it looks like. At least for what will be done down at the sports complex.
Games will be on weekends.
Games on weekends, yep.
This is an updated board.
Forward.
Mm-hmm.
And this changed, because you just recently took over from,
It
I
says
was lucky
2016.
enough to take over July 1st, yeah.
It says 2016. It's on the electronic version. We
What
can
says
change it.
2016?
What's that?
What says 2016?
That they're the 2016 board members, but since it's been updated, we can change that at home. 2017.
I had an update. My husband's the registrar, and so I asked him for some numbers. I think at our last meeting, somebody asked about whether or not it was a possibility for us to use field space in Elkhart. So I had him give me like the number of participants in from Polk City and everything. So in the spring, when he gave me these numbers, there were 410 total participants. 313 of those were from Polk City, 33 from Elkhart, 23 from Ankeny, 9 from Alleman, 9 from Cambridge, 8 from Granger, 3 from Bondurant, 3 from Slater, 2 from Norwalk, 4 from Madrid, 2 from Sheldall, 1 from Clive. So something to keep in mind, like single parent households, it might be, whoever happened to register them lives, in Clive or whatever.
What was the number from Polk City?
313. And then this year, so far, and there's still late registrations coming in, there's 499 total. 386 of those are from Polk City, 48 from Elkhart, 23 from Ankeny, 12 from Cambridge, and kind of down like the others. So to say, can't we use field space in Elkhart, that's crazy, in such a large majority.
And I think you even talked to someone at Elkhart that it wasn't going to be that feasible, even though someone had offered.
The city of Elkhart approached me about us using space, had meetings, we went out and looked at it, seemed feasible, and then the person that apparently maintains the Elkhart fields set up a phone call with me and said it wouldn't be that easy. We likely shouldn't count on it if we should find other space. I don't think it's really that viable based on the numbers that we have within Polk City and around anyway, but
And you found space for this year.
Yep.
Utilizing some new spaces this year. Methodist Church.
yeah, we are going to rename ourselves the Church League of Polk City. We've got some agreements with 3 different churches in town to use space temporarily.
That works well.
Anything else we would want to ask of Greg?
I'm assuming you guys have insurance that once it's all paid for, you'll get that to the city.
Yes, and he submitted that already.
You got that? Okay, it just
Yeah.
wasn't within this. Okay. Any other questions from board members? Motion to recommend approval to council? This is going to council, right?
Correct.
Motion to approve it? Anybody?
I'll do it. Motion.
In a second?
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Perfect. Next agenda item is to consider a motion to recommend approval for a softball team to use Field 2. I'd like to amend this. Do I have to have a motion to amend it? Or can I just amend it?
That I'm not sure.
I've had 2 other coaches approach me. Another softball team wants to also use Field 2, and then a baseball team wants to use Field 1 for 3 Sundays. So there's a total of 3 teams between baseball and softball that would like to practice only on Fields 1 and 2 this fall. All of which will have similar insurance as to what we have in our packet. I've already forwarded Jenny one of the teams. The other one will have it purchased before his first practice, which he had scheduled for August 27th.
So procedurally, apologize since it's kind of in here. Are we able to consider those when we don't have their application and insurance? Or how does that work exactly?
Well, I think that's also part of the conversation for different things like this. This is new.
Okay.
We've never had USSSA teams that I'm aware of that want to practice down there be considered request permission to use the fields before. So is this something that we're going to have to do going forward?
Yes,
Is this something the council wants to have every time?
it's my understanding so that we have a better idea of what all's happening out there, especially with the spring and summer. The traffic out there is tremendous on the weekends. I don't know that the practices would be as heavy and there would be as many people coming in and out around the same time. But technically, you can't use the park, any city parks, without having prior approval for a organized recreational. So we're just trying to, because the demand is pretty high, we want to make sure that we're following the processes in the ordinance.
A recommendation I would make, this is me personally, I don't know if we need to talk to the board to present this to council, but if you go to a lot of other parks, they have signs posted that say this field's used by reservation only, contact, and it gives like a phone number. I would recommend doing that because I know there are other teams that just show up and practice there.
Well, and if it's,
we ran into a Johnston Little League team practicing there in the spring. I was just going there to do some field work and they're practicing. So if we want to really watch that, especially insurance purposes, maybe posting something like what other parks do.
well, my understanding is if you're asking to use it on a consistent basis, for example, practices or games that are scheduled consistently, that you need parks approval or recommendation for council to approve. If it's just someone kind of leisurely wanting to use it or kind of here and there, I don't know that that's the case. I'd have to look at
And I think that would be leisurely to me, at least, would be me taking my kids down just to have batting practice. But to have a full organized practice, whether it's a little league from Polk City, from another location, or these travel teams, there's a lot more intensity, for lack of a better word, even within the practice. You're going to have 13 plus kids there. That's where you probably, if the concern is monitoring who's using it, is to make sure that there's at least something posted so they know they should at least be coming to the city to request it. Now, if it's a one-time practice, yeah, it's probably not worth it. But if they're going to do it multiple times or have the interest, because I know, at least for baseball, and I don't know if it'll be any different for you, Greg, for soccer, once or twice a year, I'll get an email from somebody in Ankeny or someplace else saying, we're just looking for field space. What do you have? I've always referred them to the city. And I always say, well, Little League gets priority and they're used 24/7 almost during the Little League season, but contact you or Jenny down here. So I know people just ask for one-time use or multiple uses. So it might be a good thing to, whether you post it someplace down at the fields or something, just say, hey, these are blocked off, and I can get examples of what other fields use, but there's usually a sign saying, these are, a lot of them are pay-to-use facilities, which obviously we wouldn't necessarily do that, but actually that might be in some of the guidelines as well in the past that we've talked about. So.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be nice to see. But
it would help you guys be able to track it and ensure you got insurance coverage as well for these teams. But to answer your question, as far as they've got a full package, this is the first time in my couple of years that we've actually presented this type of stuff to the board to recommend to council. So I think that's something new. We can discuss that here. And I know in this particular case for these other two coaches, it was kind of, I saw this on the agenda. I ran into these other two at a birthday party, and they're like, can you get me added to the agenda so we can use the field as well?
And are they part of Polk City Little League or your?
They're Little League coaches, but the practice is not for Little League. It's for their travel team, similar to what the one we have here. It's USSSA softball is what that one was. Travis Dillinger is got a team for USSSA softball. Both of these two softballs want to use Field 2 for practice, and they've got tournaments throughout the fall. The one that wants to use Field 1 is Ben Fielen. He's putting together a 9U USSSA baseball team starting in the spring, but wanted to get 5 practices in, 3 of which he wanted here in Polk City. And that, again, it's not Little League sponsored. It's a different organization, but they still want to use the field space to practice.
Greg, does that impact your space, or did you guys already handle that with the question beforehand?
If they're doing it on the weekend,
It's still in.
Yeah, for the Field 1, so are you planning anything on Field 2, the one straight in from the road off the...
The new part.
no,
So you didn't use it, you haven't used it the last couple years.
right, we're gonna put a field,
One.
The one closest to the lake.
yep.
Yep.
And then the adult softball field.
Okay.
What about parking? Some of those weekends you have a lot of people in there. Would it be
So this
problematic to
where-
have- when I was looking at the parking space numbers, and I don't know what we can accommodate.
It's certainly less in the fall because you don't have the Little League stuff going on. But soccer will have people rolling in and out of there. Just boys games on Sundays.
Usually
great
for base, when you have it in the spring, these numbers are probably close to triple
Okay.
for parking space. So yeah, the parking in the fall is
We can accommodate them.
very
Yeah,
accommodating.
practice, it would be especially fine for practices.
Mhm.
And Randy, remind me how many parking spaces are out there approximately?
You're testing my memory.
It's like 190.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Because
was
we increased
almost
quite a
200.
bit
Yeah,
for the spring-summer season, so.
yeah, that's a nice change.
And I don't know if you had any complaints. I didn't have any complaints for any parking or any weekend stuff this year. Probably the first time in a couple, 3 years.
Yeah, we didn't run into it either, did you guys? Not now.
Mhm.
That
I mean,
was
yeah,
helpful.
it was busy, but I think the organization of which way you had to go through, having
Extra
it
rock.
block the extra rock, the fence to keep people from just parking wherever they wanted to, and the organization. It was so much better.
And Josh, I was just looking at my notes, and it says that you can amend during the meeting with a motion, so it sounds like you need to make a motion to amend it, and then a motion
To approve all three.
Perfect.
I have a question, just for clarification. I agree with your comments, but I'm wondering if down the road, two things. These outside teams that are not Polk City based, travel teams, et cetera, that before we do anything, allow anything, opinion, is that they have proof of insurance. And consideration should be made to some nominal use fee, just for, and it would be specifically for, maintaining the grounds. Not something exorbitant, but something that would be used towards the maintaining the fields. Now, I know that the Urbandale had a proposal, and I don't know where it ended up with the Urbandale soccer team. Was it not a school soccer team? And they were going to actually charge them for use of the fields. This has been in the past. I don't know where it went, but that's sort of where my comments on the insurance and some nominal use fee. That's all.
Isn't there something in, I don't know if it's the Polk City Code or something that says that there could be a fee charged for those?
Yeah.
Is there a dollar amount already set?
There is.
There is.
And then it could be a determination. I agree there should be a fee. If it's somebody from Polk City or the teams, a lot of the kids are from Polk City, then I could go either way with the fee. But if it's somebody from Ankeny coming in, then kind of looking at it in that fashion, I would agree.
And these teams that you're talking about are Polk City based.
They probably have.
North Polk School District based.
Okay, they
Yes.
probably have a lot of North Polk.
The two softball teams, both coaches are from Polk City. The baseball team, Benz and Sheldall, his assistant coach is here, and half the team's from Polk City.
Because I know if there's a certain percentage of Polk City or probably North Polk, that I don't know if the nominal use fee, I don't know how that would apply,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, I would agree. If somebody wants to come in from Ankeny and you need field space, yeah, we've got field space this fall. It's going to be whatever that fee is already in our books. Show that proof of insurance, pay the fee, then you can use it. I would agree with
Fair
that.
enough.
Any other comments, questions? I'll officially then make a motion to adjust this to the three teams, 2 softball teams and 1 baseball team. Can I get
and that's to include Field 1 as well.
in field 1? Yep.
Do you know the dates by chance? It's just
Field-
helpful to have.
Field 1 would be used August 27th, September 10th, September 24th, from 4 to 5:30, 6 o'clock. The second softball team, the one I'm adding on, would be Tuesday, Thursday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. on Field 2. I didn't get a set time frame, but it would be through October, most likely.
And I've got a note here for Wednesdays and Sundays.
And I think that was what Corey, I don't have what his is, but that's probably the one that was already on the agenda.
Okay.
What nights did you say?
Wednesdays and Sundays? 6
Yeah,
to
that's his.
7:30?
Yeah. So Sunday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday on Field 2, and then Field 1, just those 3 nights on Sunday evenings.
So you made a motion. Did you get a second on the amendment?
Not yet.
I'll let
Can I get a
someone else-
second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Any other comments before we make a motion to send to council for approval? Can I get a motion to send to council to approve use of fields, baseball, softball fields for this fall? Thank you. And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ken is not here. Did he leave anything with you, Becky, or are we
Did not.
good with that one? Perfect.
And Dave Dvorak wasn't able to attend. He extended his apologies to the commission,
Okay.
but he wasn't able to attend tonight. So.
Skip that too. Staff report. Anything from
Nothing for you guys. It's fast.
Public Works?
Nothing here.
Anybody else on the commission? Anything different?
Can we get an update on park improvements?
That's what I was going to ask.
It went over the 50,000,
Well over 50,
well over the 50, so it has to go out for bid. So that you probably will see maybe starting late this fall.
So the recommendations we made for the parks, that's what's gone out for bid then, right?
Correct.
So sometime this fall we'll,
Yeah, we're trying to, I think all the infrastructure, you're gonna see infrastructure first, and then you'll probably see different phases of it. We had to go with Snyder Engineering, so we had to have engineering involved, and he's trying to break it down into maybe 3 phases, so.
Like tiling at Lost Lake for water.
Yeah, because we also have 12 Oaks out here, and the other one was Summer
Summer.
up here, so.
perfect. So sometime this fall we'll start seeing,
Yeah, we were gonna piecemeal it before, but, now it's just gonna be one contractor who comes in and just does all
Does it all.
3, so.
Okay.
good, perfect. Thank you very much.
Amy, do a quick intro. You're welcome, Amy.
Thank you. Well, hello everyone. I can do a quick intro. I'm Amy Bentley. We've lived here for close to 2 years, I think. And so we live in the Marina Cove area. I work at the DNR now, so lots of natural resource ties with that. And then prior to moving here, I worked at the University of Northern Iowa for the National Program for Playground Safety, and was the program coordinator for that program. So hopefully I can use some of those skills here as well. Is what my intentions are. We have
For a good fit.
3 kiddos that are involved in activities around the area. So yeah.
What age are the kids?
12, 10, and 6.
Great.
And my husband's on the police department, so you'll see him around town as well. But we're
Perfect.
excited to get involved, so it should be good.
Great.
Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Any other topics, anybody? All right, we will adjourn until September 5th. Thank you.